Good morning, it's Jonathan Barrett with the morning debrief. It's 2 minutes to 9. It's the 4th of March, Friday the 4th of March, and obviously quite a volatile night. But what we've seen is a very, very strong rally in the equity markets, and that seems to be purely on the back of relief and also some more encouragement in terms of some economic numbers out of the States. I guess in terms of the movements last night, the major one was gold, which retreated back from its record high of 1440. It's currently trading around about 1412, 1415. That's interesting because 1425 was resistance, turned support. The fact that we haven't stayed above that level in mind suggests that we have an intermediate high in place. And then I think you can either sell rallies or take profit on long positions and or grant a 1450 call. But we'll talk a little bit about the gold market a little bit later. I guess the most important thing is let's go for a quick summary as to what has happened. And I think, I guess the most important thing here is what happened last night. Equity markets, as you know, the Dow up 191 points, 1.59%, very strong there. S&P was up 22, the Nasdaq was up 50. Over to Europe, the top 50 was up 10, FTSE was up 90, very solid move there. The CAC up 26, the DAX was up 44. Closer to home, we had a very strong move again, up 49 points, 4,851, and I think our expectations are that that can continue to trade higher. So I think that in itself says that we're having a little bit of relief out there, and with that relief, people are getting a little bit more confident as to where the market should trade. Okay, let's just have a look at some of the currencies now, and let's just move that out of the way so we get a bigger picture. Dollar index 76.47. When you look at it, probably expectations are now for the dollar to actually trade back to that low, 75, 76, maybe even a little bit lower than that. 75.50. If it takes out that low, then we come back to this level down here, which is 74.40. But that's probably the extent of the low. What we are seeing is people who were looking for those risk aversion trades but went into dollars, they're capitulating, I think, due to the fact that we've got Chavez and Gaddafi trying to look for some resolution. So quite important on that front. Okay, so that's dollar index. Aussie in itself looks a little bit better bid as well. Aussie closed at 101.39 and 40. Expectations are still for that to trade up to 105. So that myself, I think, does remain still relatively positive. Okay, looking at obviously the big one, crude oil, and it's probably best to have a look at the hourly chart. When that news came out, early European trading, we saw quite an aggressive move to the downside, but we're still holding around these levels, and obviously we took a bounce. I think the market wants to see more proof. Equity markets took it a different way, but they want to see more proof that what's happening in Libya is in fact works towards a solution, and I think that's what we're holding out for. Having a look at gold, which is the next most important thing. Gold 14.15, as we mentioned, looks like people might move away from gold as part of or see that premium, that Middle Eastern premium or risk premium erode. We've still got concerns on inflationary aspects, but as it stands at the moment, I think people will move away from gold just to capture some profits. And you can see here that's quite a move last night coming down, and it just looks like a profit-taking move. Seems to have broken this trend here. So not until we see a break through 1425 do we know that there is a top, but if it's a likely head and shoulders, probably see it probe back to 1400, support, and then trade higher. So if anything, in a bit of a range, that's what we like, the idea of granting a call above the old high, purely because if it trades up there, you're taking profit, and if it trades down, well, at least you're getting more premium for what you have. So that's the strategy we've got there. Other commodities, copper 449.60. Still tend to like what's happening in that market, but if it breaks through that 444, we think a correction is. One of the keys we do have is that if we can see some form of lightening of the positions that we've got, or lightening of the situation in Libya, that will placate people. But as it stands, whilst there is concern, economies can slow. Excuse me. And as a result of that, demand for copper won't be as much as it should be. So if anything there, still stand by that, 445, 444 break there, it's deeper correction. Other than that, trade sideways for a little while. Okay, so that's a look at that. Let's have a look at the SPY, just on the hourly basis. Good strong opening there, 48.50. I think when you'll see that it is bounced off those lows, so I think our expectations are for that to continue to trade to the top side now. Let's see. And but one thing also, that's a SPY there. It looks a bit overdone, but I don't know. I mean, dips back to 48.20. I think you could probably have a good look at that if you can get it in. Just a couple of things. Cotton continues to trade higher on certain demand, and also inventory levels which remain relatively low. We do like the corns, the soyas and the wheat. Still love those trade. Corn in itself 735.5, and continue to see that trade to the top end. Same with soybeans 1408, and wheat 823. All like those continue, and look forward to them to continue to be very strong. The market hasn't reflected on certain areas, certainly on the subsoil moistures in a lot of the drought-affected areas, and the ability to be able to produce good yields. That hasn't come in yet, so particularly Russia and China. And as a result of that, I think it will become more acute as the seasons develop. Okay, tonight sees non-farm payrolls. Unemployment rate in the States is a big number, and the market's expecting some big things from it. Unemployment rate's expected to edge higher, but the change in non-farm payrolls is expected to be a big one. We expect it to add about 175,000. Initial jobless claims was also positive, and I think the market's following on from that sentiment will be quite positive for this number. Buy the rumours, sell the fact, I think is probably the scenario for tonight's trading, but let's see how that unfolds. Okay, well that's pretty much about it from me. Hope everyone has a good day. Just to reiterate our positions, gold we're looking to take some profit on, or grant the 1450 call. We're still long our grains, and still long dollar yen. It's an old position, but we're just happy to keep it there because it's in the range, not doing too much. And gold, I said, taking profit. Crude, have a sneaky short on that one, that's all. Sneaky short actually around these levels. So let's see what happens there. But only very, very tiny position, and it's purely speculating on the fact that a resolution will come pretty quickly. And as we do have too much supply out there anyway, it should go lower. But anyway, let's see what happens. That's about it from me. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.